Hello everyone, welcome to my fifth Python course. In this course, we are going to be working with numbers in Python. So let's begin. Now, these are the course objective. We have the addition, which is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Subtraction, 2 negative 2 is equals to 0. And the multiplication, 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 4. Bracket, and this is it, 4 negative 2 multiplied by 2, which is equals to 0. Division, 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. And also floor, 4 divides 3, which is 2 forward slash 3 is equals to 1. Modulo for mod 2 is equals to 0. And the tilde operator, tilde 1 is equals to negative 2, which simply means negative 1, negative 1, which is equals to negative 2. Exponential function, which is equals to 2 to the power of 2 is equals to 4. Round function, which is equals to round 2.4, which is equals to 2. Now let's put that into code. So let's start with code. If we say that a is equals to 5, then we print a plus 6. Let's run this Python code. The output is 11 because a is equals to 5 and this is 5. 5 plus 6, which is definitely equals to 11. And that is just for addition. You can just try this yourself using Python code. And also subtraction, if we say that b is equals to 11, print 11 minus a. So let's run this Python code. The output is 6 because a is equals to 5, b is equals to 11. So 11 minus a will be equals to 6, which is 11 minus 5 is equals to 6. Now let's move to multiplication, which is this. So let's see that print 5 multiplied by 2, or let's see that a multiplied by 2, since a is equals to 5. So a times 2, which simply means 5 times 2. So let's run this Python code. The output is equals to 10 because a is equals to 5. 5 times 2 is equals to 10. So prime division now. So we can say that a b is equals to let's say that 12 and 4 like this. So print a divides b. Now let's try and get the output. The output is 3.0 because a is equals to 12, b is equals to 4. So 12 divided by 4 is equals to 3. Now looking at this code, it is giving us floats. So if I'm going to print something like print the type of a divides b, we're gonna get a class float because division always outputs float number no matter what, even though it has no remainder. Like 12 divided by 4 has no remainder, it's just 0 remainder. So that is 3.0, it is always float. So if you want to change this to integer, you can just type integer bracket like this. So when you print this, you're gonna get only 3 like this. So when you set this to a variable, let's see that c is equals to a divides b like this. So print type of integer c. We've changed c to an integer, so if you print the type of c, of course we're going to get an integer, which is the class integer. So if you clear off this integer now like this, to give us the type of c, we are going to get a class float because we didn't change this to an integer, and also division always outputs float. So looking at this code here, like 8 times 2, print 8 times 2, 5 multiplied by 2, which is equals to 10, like this. So let me clear this off. This type, I want it to input our number 3.0. So print 8 times 2, which is equals to 5 times 2. The output is just 10. So if you want your output to be float, you can just add float 8 times 2. Now we are going to get 10.0 as our output. Now the output is 10.0. Now that is how Python works. Now let's move to a bracket. Now talking about bracket, actually Python follows BODMAS or PEMDAS, whatever, but it's follow the rules of mathematics. So if we say that print a multiply by 2 plus 3 like this, then divided by I don't want it to input any large number, so let's just see that divided by 2, oh sorry, divided by 5, and let's try and get the output. The output is 12. Why is the output 12? Now this bracket first, you have to execute what is inside this bracket first. So what is inside this bracket is actually 5. This is a is equals to 12, which is this. We've reassigned a to be equals to 12 here. A is no more 5. Yeah, a is equals to 5. As I've said at my last Python course, I said Python is an interpreter language. It follows code step by step. Now looking at this suggestion here, this is an integer is equals to 5. Looking at this here, I don't think it's going to bring it unless I let me just pop it here. Now a, which is equals to integer 5, but here a is equals to 12. Now this is 5. Python is going to execute this division first, which is this bracket first, then back to this division. Then Python is going to give us the answer by multiplying or the answer of this operator multiplied by this a. Now let me execute this. 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. 5 divided by 5 is equals to 1. 12 times 1, which is equals to 12.0. But looking at this, is this how Python actually execute the code? Because the output is actually 12.0, which the output should be equals to 12. So it means that Python actually execute this division first. Even though we say that print a multiply by 1.0, we are going to get 12.0, of course. Now the output is 12.0. That is exactly what happened here. So this division actually made this to be equals to 1.0. So let me comment this code in front. So which is equals to 12 multiplied by 5 divided by 5, which is equals to 12. Sorry, I'm actually using um 12 multiplied by 1, which is equals to 12.0 like this. So this is 1.0. So this is what happened in this Python code. So 5 multiplied by 5 divided by 5. So Python will probably execute what is inside this bracket first. That is the first one. Then divide it by this division statement. That is 5 divided by 5, which is equals to 1.0. Then a is equals to 12. 12 times 1.0, which is equals to 12.0. So that is exactly how the program works. Now let's move to division, which is just divisional statement. I think I've just explained this just now. So if we say that division, let's say that 4 divided by 13. So let's bring this Python code. The output is 0.384 all the way up to this 4, yeah. But what if I add something like integer here? What will be the output? Now looking at this code here, this is a float already, but I change this float to an integer. What will be my output? The output is going to be 0, of course. So it is an integer. It is going to round down. Maybe it is 0 0.5, 0 0.6. It is always round down, not round up. So that is how integer works. So if I'm going to say that 12 divided by 5, yeah, this is still going to be 2, because let me clear this integer off and let's get the division of 12 divided by 5. So the output is 2.4. So I'm looking for something that will say that if it is let's say that 23 divided by 3, like this is 7.66666, which can be round up to 8. But if you're going to put integer here, you are going to get only 7, because we've changed this to an integer. So the output is going to be 7. Python doesn't care what number that is behind the digit, the number of decimal value. Python doesn't really care about that, since you've changed the data type to an integer data type, not a float anymore. So Python is going to round down no matter what. So let's move to floor. Probably this floor actually works just like an integer. So if you say that floor of let's say that 5 floor 1 floor 2, sorry, the output is going to be 2, because 5 divided by 2 is equals to 2.5, but the floor of 2.5 will be equals to 2. So it is always round down. That is how it works. Always round down. So even though it is 23 that we did earlier, 23 divided by 3, so we want to print the floor of this code. We are going to get 7 as we got here. This is 7 also. So 23 divided by 3 convert this to low, but the float, so 7.6667, and the floor of 7.667 will be equals to 7. Now let's move to modulo operator. So how this modulo work is that this is, let's say that print 3 mod 2 like this. The output is going to be 1, because 3 divided by 2 is equals to 1, remainder 1. So this remainder is the output. That is how the modulo operator works. So even though we say that print let me find something like yeah, 5 mod 3, the output is going to be 2, because 5 divided by 3 is equals to 1, remainder 2, like this. So the output is the remainder. So let's run this Python code. Now we got 1 and 2. So that is how the modulo operator works. So if you want to get the if you want to check if a number is an even number, so you can just say that print let's say that 4 mod 2. So if the output is equals to 0, it means that it is an integer number. So the remainder will be equals to 0, because 4 divided by 2 is equals to 2, remainder 0. So that is how the modulo operator work. So let me just put this here just to make it more better, like this. So the output is going to be 0, 1, 2, like that. And let's move to the tilde operator. You're not gonna see this in some Python tutorial videos on YouTube, so I just think of adding it. Maybe they just add it in Python, but if you are using the latest version of Python, like from Python 3.7, you are going to see you're going to be using this tilde operator. So this is how it works. So if you print the tilde of 7, what is actually means is that the tilde of 7, which is this -7, -1. This is how it works. The output will be -8. So this is the output, -8. Print tilde of 4. We are going to get -4, -1, which is equals to -5. So let's run this Python code. -5. What about tilde of 0? What are we going to get? If you are a mathematician, you don't need to worry about this. It is pretty easy. So tilde of 0 will be not even a mathematician. If you're good at basic math, just basic mathematics, it's okay for programming. So the tilde of 0 equals to -0, -1. But in mathematics, there is nothing like a -0. We only have 0 minus 1, which is equals to, we're going to get a -1. Now, let's bring this Python code. The output is -1. This is how the tilde operator works. Now let's move to exponential function. This is how it works. Exponential function. So let's say that print 4 raised to power 2. In Python, you're going to be using this double multiplication sign to for your exponential operator. So 4 raised to power 2 is equals to 16, because 4 multiplied by 4 is equals to 16. Now let's run this Python code. The output is 16. So printing 7 raised to power 3, we're going to get 343. What about print 2 raised to power 100? I just actually press something. 2 raised to power 100. Now let's Python code. Let's get the output. And it's actually, so integer stores larger numbers, but in other programming language, if you're going to execute something like 2 to the power of 100, you're going to use the data type using a long data type. So in Python, you have to use integer, and it's going to print everything like this. So Python is more of is more better. Like Python is very good at analyzing things, calculating things. That is why Python is very good for data science. So if we say that 353 divided by 11, let's get the output. The output is 32.09090909. So it stops at some stage. So if you want to print something like, okay, let me talk about this round function. So in mathematics, from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll probably round down to 0. Then from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we'll probably round up to 1. So if I print round of 6.7, now let's run this Python code. We got 7 because this 7 probably changed to 1, which is this 1, and add it to 6, which is equals to 7. So if it is something like 6.4, we're going to get 6 because these 4 round down to 0, then 0 plus 6, which is still equals to 6. So if it is something like 6.467, what do you think the output is? Let's try and get it up. The output is equals to 6 because these 4 will round down to 0 and give it to 6. But you might be thinking that this is 7, so this is 6 also. So if this 6 round up, which is equals to 5, then 5 will round up, which is equals to 1, then 1 plus 6, which is equals to 7. Probably you are very wrong. So this is how Python calculate things. So these 4, so Python will probably ignore all these number, yeah. Python only care about this. So let's say that 6 or 7, and let's try and get the output. The output is 7 now because this 6 will probably round up to 1. Then the 1 plus 6 is equals to 7. And that is how Python execute code. So we will begin with the comparison, assignment, and logical operators. So let me just um let's start with the coding of comparison operators. So if we say that x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 14, so we want to compare this number. So we'll have to print like x is equals to 5 like this. So if you want to compare a number in Python, you will use this equal operator, that is to check if x is equals to y. So this is going to return a boolean value which is only true or false. So if I should say that print 5 is greater than sorry, I've set it to a variable already, so I'll have to say that x is greater than y like this. Print y is greater than x. Print let's do it the other way around also. Y is greater than x, and also, so let's see that y is less than x, and let's get all the output. And also print x is not equal to y. Now we also have x is greater than equals to y, or let's say that y is less than equals to x. Now let's try and get the output. Now the first one is print x is equals to y. Looking at this code, of course x is not equals to y. We are comparing, not that we are setting that x is equals to y, but what we are doing in this code, that we are comparing these two numbers by saying that check if x is equals to y. So if x is equals to y, the output is going to be true, but here x is not equals to y because x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 14. So we are going to get false in this first print function here. So let me run this Python program. Now the first one we get false. Now looking at the second one too, x is greater than y. Of course x is not greater than y because 5 is less than 14. Now this is it. X is greater than y, so the output is going to be false because x is not greater than y. And what about this one? Y is less than x. No, y is not less than x. Y is greater than x. Now this is the code. Y is less than x, so this is going to be false. Let me just comment this in front of them. So the output of this is going to be false. This is going to be false, and also this is going to be false. So let's move to the next one. The next one is y is greater than x. Of course, is greater than x. This is 14 is greater than 5. So this is probably true. And also, what about this? Y is less than x. Is y less than x? No, y is not less than x. We are going to get false. Y is greater than x in this case. What about this? X is not equals to y. Of course, x is not equals to y. So the output for this is going to be true. So this is the not equal to operator in Python. And what about this? X is greater than equals to. What is the output for this? Let's check. The output is false first. Now let's check for x. X is equals to 5. X is not greater than and not even equals to y. So the output is going to be false. What about this? Y is less than equals to no. Y is not less than equals to. So the output is going to be false. Now that is how Python run the comparison operator in Python. Now that's the output. So if I should say that this is x and also y is equals to 5, now some codes are going to change. Now looking at this code, probably the first code, x is equals to y, we get true because 5 is the same thing as 5. Now the second one should be false because they are not less than and looking at this, x is not equals to y, so this is going to be false. That is in third to the last 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be false. X is greater than or equal to. So this is the OR operator in Python. So I'm going to be talking about logical operators soon, so you're going to understand more about OR and AND operator. So this x is greater than or equal to y. So either one of them is true. So if one of them is true, the output is going to be true. If one of them is false, the output is going to be false. Now this is it. Y is less than x. Y is equals to 5. X is equals to 5. Y is not less than x, but it is equals to x. Now the output is true. And that is it for the code. So let me change this back to Python 14 because I'm going to be uploading all these files inside each Python course so you guys can learn more about it. Now let's talk about the logical operator. So in logical operator we have so many operators. We have the um AND operator, we have the OR operator, and also the NOT operator. So let's set A and B. A is equals to true, like this. B is equals to false, like this. So print A and B. What do you think the output is? Let's print A or B and also print A not B. Now there is nothing like A not B. We only have I just wanted to show you guys like this is why PyCharm is very good. It's going to suggest that oh this is error, so you have to clear this. That is not how this is going to be written. So we only have not B and also not A, like this. So in this code now, A is equals to true, B is equals to false. Print A and B. Now what this code does is that if A is equals to true and also B is equals to true, return true. But in this case, B is equals to false. So this is going to be false. So let's say that otherwise false. This is exactly what the code does. And what about this? What this code does is that either A either A is equals to true or B is equals to false, like this, return true. Otherwise, false. So if both is false, we are going to get false as our output. So that is why I use the either keyword like this. So this is not B and not B. Just this is just going to be returning the opposite of the value. So the opposite of true is false, and the opposite of false is true. So let me just say and vice versa. So let's run this Python code. Let me put some space here just for it. So like that. Oh, we've reached this destination here. So after the print function, yes, so this is going to divide our code. Now this is it exactly. That is what the print function does without nothing. It's just going to give us a new line. So if you want some multiple lines, you can just make this a string, then forward slash n, forward slash n, forward slash n. So let's run this code. So this is going to give us some multiple lines in our code. Now this is it. Now back to the logical operator. So as I have said at the beginning, I said A and B, which will have true and false, we are going to get false. This is what it will start. Now print A or B, we are going to get true because either A is equals to true or B is equals to false. We are going to get false. Let me put and the vice versa here. So even B is equals to, like, let's say that B is equals to false, like this, and this is equals to true. Now let's get the output. Now the output is equals to true. So that is what the OR operator does. It is always true unless we set both to be equals to false like this. So let's set both to be equals to false. We are going to get false now. So that is exactly how it works. Now let's move to the third one. I said the opposite. Now the opposite of, let me rerun the code to let it change. So the opposite of B is, since B is equals to false, so the opposite will be true. Since A is equals to true, the opposite will be false. So that is just what the logical operator does. So let's move to the assignment operator. So let me print some new lines here. New lines, new lines, new lines like this. Now, moving back to the assignment operator, we have so many assignment operator. You have to use the equals to sign and add it with a certain operator. So let's say that A is equals to 5. So this is what the assignment operator does. We can say that A is equals to A plus 1, like this. So it means that this new A is equal to this A, like this, plus 1, which is equals to 5 plus 1, which is equals to 6. The alternative method is that using A is equals to A plus equals to 1, like this. So this is the short form of writing this. So probably I don't need to comment this. Let me just run the both of them and let's get the output. I haven't print A, so I have to print it. So let's run this Python code. Now the output is equals to 7. Why is the output equals to 7? Because this a here is already equals to 6, then I reuse the code here. So if I'm going to cut this, now let me place this. Now it is a is equals to 6. So this is a, which is this new a, is equals to this a 5 plus 1, which is equals to 6. So you can probably change this to a plus equals to 1. We are still going to get 6. Now the output is 6. You can also do it for other operators, like saying that print, like let's print. So I'm going to be setting a variable b is equals to, let's say that 8. B is equals to like this mod b, or let's say that mod 2. Now let's run the Python code. The output is equals to 0 because this b is now equals to this b mod 2. So which simply means this new b is equals to this b, this variable name, which is equals to 8 mod 2, which simply means 8 divided by 2, which is equals to 4 remainder 0. So the output is going to be 0. So this is what the assignment operator does. Let's try another one too. We have the one like, let's say that c is equals to 9, b is equals to c minus 1, print c. Now let's get the output. The output is 8 because this c, this can be equals to negative c is equals to, so this is just exactly simple. So this new c is equals to this c here minus 1, which is equals to 8 as the output. So that is just all for working with numbers. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. That will be, we are going to be working with strings in Python. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Good day.